We are live. Good evening. It's Sunday. It's just gone 8 o'clock due to technical difficulties again. And it's time for some Doctor Who. And this week we are going to be doing the Unquiet Dead. And joining us tonight we've got Chris and Ian again. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
There we go. And Ian can't say anything because he is here in spirit. You're in the private chat. Or should I use YouTube comments? You can use YouTube comments if you like. I think that might work. Type it in YouTube comments, see what happens.
I can open the YouTube comments up on here. So
I'll see if you types on YouTube's comments, but we'll see if he pops up in the chat. He should pop up in the chat. But anyway, back to what I was saying. We are doing Doctor Who Unquiet Dead Series 1, Christopher Eccleston, Billy Piper. And we've followed on pretty much from last week where we did Scream of the Shalka and End of the World. Scream of the Shalka. My God, was that so fun.
I tried to tell you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I tried to tell you.
But the thing is, I remember watching it the first time around and it was just like, it's good, but I think it's because I watched it in the weekly episodic bits originally. And when it came around to watching it again, I don't think I was as sort of paying that much attention to it last week. With last week, like we were supposed to be commenting on it, and both of us were just gripped watching it.
Oh, no.
There were periods of absolute silence because we were just watching the episode. But it was so good, and I don't want to rip on. We've done this enough, right? I don't want to rip on series 11 and 12. Right, but it made such a massive difference because we were coming off the back of talking about Series 12, and then we went into talking about Scream of the Shalka. And Scream of the Shalka, by the way, being written by the guys who've done Big Finish. There was a feeling you could say that it's a bit of a fan filmy type thing, but it was so good, like so rich with everything that was just clever Doctor Who, and it was not. It wasn't a burden. Watching that episode was not a burden. It wasn't a hardship, or it didn't feel like I was sitting through a lecture. And I think when we get back to doing this one tonight, now where we're talking about Christopher Eccleston's run, we are very much into a more fun episode era of Doctor Who, whereby it's a bit more tongue-in-cheek, it's less serious, it's a bit more let's have a romp, let's have a good time. Series 12 was much better than Series 11, but still not entirely happy with the writing. Oh man, 3 hours we were going through, about 3 hours 45 minutes I think we were going through, but we went through every episode of Series 12. And look, Series 12, we've said it before, Series 12 is better than Series 11. It genuinely is.
It is. It goes to prove 100% you can polish a turd.
But my God, did we... we don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. Sorry, you missed that then. Yeah, it's back a couple of videos ago. It was literally... We done the Series 12 rundown, and then we went into doing Scream of the Shalka and End of the World. End of the World, again, a very cheesy episode, but a fun episode.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff in there. Lots of real, just like I said, there's sci-fi tropes just thrown into that episode just for the hell of it. And, the bad guys were all dressed in black with the big claw hands. You had the where's the switch? It's over there at the end of this catwalk with all these big deadly blades in the way. As cheesy as you like, but it was...
Turn off the sun filters with a button on the keyboard.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Beep. It's just like, it literally went over and click. And the guy was just watching it. Just like... But how good was that actor, though? I mean, he was just amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we're following that up now with The Unquiet Dead. And this episode, this is my personal favourite episode of New Who. Now, it's not the best episode, but it is my favourite episode because it's the episode. Is last week's discussion still online somewhere? All of them are on my video channel, on the channel somewhere. So yeah, it's all on. They should all be up on the. Go to my page and go to videos, and they should all be on my YouTube. They better be anyway. I haven't looked. I haven't checked. So yeah, this week is my favourite episode of New Who. I think what I like with this episode more than anything else is it's quite dark. It's quite a morbid episode, and Doctor Who really hasn't done morbid that much. Like probably the closest one that comes to this episode might be Death in Heaven, but this is done better. This is actually dealing with cadavers. So and it's dealing with what happens, with the death, like with people, and with dealing with it's kind of dealing with an alien invasion story. But what I like with this, and I don't like it with others because others seem to, I don't want to say copy the template, but really when Doctor Who came back, it was like, what the hell is going on? There's all these zombies around, and it was like, no, it's aliens that are infesting these dead bodies. And quite honestly, after that, every other time they did something supernatural, it was like, it's aliens. Best Gaddis episode? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. But again, he's under the supervision of Russell T Davies. So, for me, I think it's the best episode. But again, that's like I said, it's not the best episode. It's my favorite. It's my personal favorite, best episode of Doctor Who of the new era. And I just think it's a lot of fun. What were you first, before we start watching the episode, Chris, what are your first memories of seeing this episode for the first time?
I remember sitting down watching this with my kids and my missus, and as it started with the opening sequence before the titles, I remember looking at my wife and saying, do you think they should be watching this, being as they were sort of like 8 and 5 at the time?
You're right, because what's great about this is that, when people say, you get the opening scream?
Yeah.
You literally get an opening scream.
Yeah.
You literally do. I think what I like as well about this episode, before we get into it as well, is how creative they were with production. Because I don't think there's a single set, aside from the TARDIS, I don't think there's a single set used in the episode. It's all location. Everything's location. The funeral parlor is location. I think even the interior of the funeral parlor is location as well. I think it's a school. So yeah, this is a money-saving episode. The makeup. The makeup, which looks great in this, is all, there's no latex. It's all, you could do this at makeup by just going to Boots. It's a very, very, the most expensive thing I think was probably in this episode is probably the extras, because there was a lot of them. Aside from that, though, obviously in the major cast where you got Simon Callow playing Charles Dickens, but I think we'll talk about that.
Simon Callow is brilliant in everything he ever does.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that. We can get talking about that once the episode starts. But I will say this: I think it was a stroke of genius, because I think only like a year or two earlier he had just finished playing in A Christmas Carol. And before that, he'd also done an autobiography. He's pretty much the Charles Dickens aficionado. He's pretty much he's done, I think for about 20 years, he had done like nothing but Charles Dickens stuff. So he's like kind of a Dickens expert. So when they... So yeah, when they picked him to play Charles Dickens, it was like a stroke of genius. And of course, like with most people, you probably recognise Simon Callow as probably Four Weddings and a Funeral or Ace Ventura?
See, I don't. When I think of Simon and Callow, I think of Alistair Crowley from the Chemical Wedding film.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm thinking general audiences of.
I'm not general audiences, man.
No, I know that, but I would say most people probably recognise Simon Callow from Ace Ventura and from
Four Weddings. Yeah.
Four Weddings. They are probably the biggest films that he's done. Great actor, great comic actor, which is might surprise a lot of people, but he's a comic. He started out as a comic actor. You know, he was doing lots of comedy stuff as comedy plays, and he's still doing well now. But anyway, I think I'm ready to start. Anyway, so if you're ready to go,
I shall just cue it up. Ready?
Yeah, I'm about to press play. Just before we start, there are a couple of people that I want to mention after. Oh, we might mention after we do this. Yeah, let's do it after. There's a couple of people that I want to talk about with regards to Doctor Who as well. So, we'll get onto that anyway. Let's take a look at Unquiet Dead. I'm about to press play in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Netflix is now saying Unquiet Dead. Yay. Well, BBC logo. And here we go. Great opening scene there. It's just about 2, I think. Alan David there. Lighting the candle. Gas light. Great actor as well, Alan David. Done everything from Emmerdale to you name it. You gotta love the lamb chops. Again, we're not really giving enough credit really to the visual effects of this show. Yeah, for some reason, if you look at this episode on IMDb, it's got Eve Miles listed as playing Gwen Cooper. I don't think so. She's very much playing Gwyneth. I'm just starting the episode Scream now into the theme. It sounds like you're a little bit behind there, Chris.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to keep up. I can't hear
you. Billy Piper. Doctor Who logo just scrolled in and slammed on screen. TARDIS about to bounce out of view. Unquiet Dead by Mark Gatiss. Him. There we go. Into the TARDIS. Lovely set, by the way. Should we? We'll talk about the set a bit later. Is this a better representation of the Welsh than the Green Death? Do you know? I think so. I would say so. He's a very traditional Welsh business. He's snooty. Yes, unfortunately. We're at the funny little dead miner. Great work on the locations, by the way. So this is
BBC does this time period so well.
well, this is Monmouth here. Now this is a place called Church Street. There's normally a sign. That's actually a shopping centre. So there's normally a sign above where you see they've taken the sign down, so you can see the metal grating. And they're about to step out, and they step out, and then the reverse angle then is Swansea. So it's great use of locations. But yeah, we haven't talked enough about how great this interior of the TARDIS is. Thematically, from what the theme of this period in Doctor Who's life, in the Doctor's life, where he's just come from the Time War, and he's had to cobble together the console out of bits because the thing's broke. It tells the story very well.
It's a very good set.
Oh, it genuinely is beautiful. You can see it's got that very, very rundown, beaten up feel. Yeah, this is Monmouth as well. Now they do a trick later on. So see the house with the writing on the side on the wall.
Yep.
So later on, there's a chase, and they with Simon Callow, and he's getting the horse and cart, and he chases after them. The shot is exactly the same street. There's no all they've done is change the camera angle, and it makes it look like he's much further. It's really clever. It's a little bit of TV magic, really, but it's exactly the same street. Now, I believe before getting cast in this, Eve Miles had just won a BAFTA for one of the shows on S4C. And you quite find that you tend to find that a lot of actors that are on sort of Welsh TV end up in Doctor Who at some point or another. Looking at this in hindsight, do you think they should have greyed up his hair a little bit? He's looking awful young, but do you think? I'm just wondering whether or not Dickens should have had a bit more of a bit of grey to him.
I mean, how old was Charles Dickens in 1869?
Oh God, no, you're asking. he weren't far from his death.
I'm going to find out. I mean, that's why we've got these devices, isn't it?
It's very true.
He would have been 57, so that's only a year before he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they should have. Looking at the picture of Charles Dickens, I've got up on here. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Oh no, they could. I mean,
They probably could have grayed them a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of wide angle camera lenses being used for the interior of the TARDIS there as well. just to make it like a little bit more cavernous. Looks wonderful.
Ian said he's 50 in grain.
We're all trending that way, thankfully, because the alternative is the alternative of not getting older is. Now that's a great shot where you see her in the audience.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing, there's no focus on her. There's nothing. She's just sitting there. You can pick her out a mile off. It's just the makeup. Is this an historical? I mean, it is, but it's not. It's more just a time traveling adventure story, isn't it? Swansea Marina. They did a fabulous job of this. I'm going to hand them massive credit for this.
I mean, it's a time travel story with a touch of the historical about it because they've got an actual person rather than a fictional character.
Yeah, but it's more like a person from history getting involved in the story as opposed to being about an historical event. So, what you can't see there is if the camera's to pan left, you'd see probably one of those modern-looking buildings. It's like that is right on the marina. They need to expand this this to the format for the newbies. Yeah. Again, I don't want to go. We will talk later about what they could and should have. But look at that shot there. You can clearly see her sitting next to that person with a hat, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. Man, this is the new theatre in Cardiff. Get some strange acts there. Some good ones, but some strange acts. David Hasselhoff as Captain Hook. Dirk Benedict as Columbo. It's honestly, it's good but weird.
Dirk Benedict as Columbo.
I'm telling you, I'm not making it up.
All right, well that's not one I would have picked out.
No.
Run away!
But no, they do an amazing job of piecing together all these locations to make it look like one cohesive place. I do like the fact that they point out what street in Monmouth was this film? It was Beaufort Street, I believe. It's actually so where Sneed's house is actually the tourist information centre, so you can actually go in there. But I believe it's Beaufort Street and Cameron Place, Swansea Marina. Yeah, it's literally the marina. It's you come off the main road and you literally go down there and you keep going and you end up wet. All this is Swansea here for the outside here of the theatre. Again, this is literally the reverse angle. That's Monmouth, the Swansea. So, but where that driver is sitting, if the camera, if that coach moves out of the way, all you're going to see is a lot of modern steel fencing. Watch the look on his face now as he rubs his ego. Watch Simon Callow's face. He wanted to kick him out of the coach just now. The banter's brilliant. Yeah, this is now coming back up the road that they just went down.
Yeah, I saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, literally. And go the other way because you're going the wrong way. Yeah, we mentioned this before. If you want to know anything about where Doctor Who films, it's literally the closest thing to the M4 or the A470. If you pick those two roads, and that's where all the locations are. If it's off those two roads, forget about it.
I thought it was in Sheffield now.
It is set in Sheffield. At the top end of the A470. Bottom end of the A470. It's near Cardiff. But I believe this is a school. Like big marble. You'd never get a Welsh house with marble walls, marble pillars. You never would. You'd be lucky if it had cement on the walls.
That's a brilliant line.
It is, because most people will say, "What the Dickens?" So yeah. It's really a brilliant way of doing it. Take 34. I believe they did do a couple where it was like full body where she threw it and it actually hit him, but she just kept missing all the time. So they ended up doing a 2-shot. See, no sonic screwdriver there. How do you open the door? Boot. Wonderful makeup job though. Like again, this makeup job you could do from Boots, because literally all they've done is they've used a lighter makeup to highlight the bone structure, and then a darker makeup to make them just look a little bit more gaunt, and then just gone over it with like a pen and just done veins, and then just give them the contact lenses. Quick, cheap, simple. So many ideas got started from this episode. Just think, this episode queues up everything that comes after it with Boomtown, with Torchwood, with all of it. Like him kicking the door, and not some of the Doctor Who are doing the classic series. It depends on which Doctor, really. I think Pertwee would have. I mean, but there's less of that going on now. There's less. Here's the thing, right? And I don't want to rag on Series 12 again, right? But this Doctor is taking control of this situation. Very much so. This Doctor is in charge. And again, Alan Davis, great Welsh actor. Done it all. Holby City, you name it. But again, the cost of making this episode is all the money spent in the right places. It's choosing the right locations. It's choosing all the best, cheapest ways of knitting this place together. Because that's what it is. You got a shot from here, a shot from here, a shot from here, combining it all together to make it one place. I love that shot. Would you say 12 wouldn't take charge? What about 5? I don't know. It depends on which episode. Because sometimes it just goes along for the ride.
5 would take charge, but he does it in a very.
2 definitely would take charge. 2 would go along with it, and then he would just flip it on his head. That's the thing with 2. I just watched him with the faceless ones, and he's literally just like he is the guy in charge. He is constantly arguing with the police and with other people at the airport security and stuff. But 2 goes along with it, and then just then snaps. 5, it does depend on the episode. It does, because like in Snake Dancing, not so much. But he does try to take charge in I'm trying to watch this and can't think of episodes. 7 took charge, yeah. Remembrance of the Daleks, Curse of Fenric, he definitely took charge. Battlefield, definitely. So is it down to writing or performance? It's down to writing.
I think there's an element of performance as well. But yeah,
I think the actor's got to make the choice as to how to deliver the line. But if the line says the Doctor stands to the side and says nothing, it's really the actor can probably argue with the director as to what to do, but at the end of the day, the actor's just got to follow the script, really. Yeah, I'd definitely say 7 would take charge. Bloody hell, yeah. Greatest show in the galaxy? Yeah. One of my favourite shots as well is watching him leave that tent. The whole thing just blow up behind him. Yeah, she must seem like a right troll up. Also, we're talking about comebacks. Obviously, like Eve Miles comes back into the Doctor Who universe in Torchwood and into later episodes of Doctor Who as Gwen Cooper. Obviously, Simon Callow comes back as well as Charles Dickens in The Wedding of River Song. So she's in it from time to time as well. Billy Piper. I've seen her in it once or twice. Here we go. Into this bit of banter, and it goes straight into what's starting to go on with the character. It seems like a wasted scene, but this. Here we go. But see, that was a lot of character filled by there, but you got a lot about Gwyneth, and you got a lot about Rose as well.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. You have no idea how long he's been standing there. He might have been standing watching the entire time. So here's the question for you then. The rift is there.
Yeah.
She's got access. She's grown up and she's tapped into it. But does the rift open for Torchwood because he blows up the house? Or because he uses it to recharge the TARDIS? I mean, is the entire Torchwood, everything from Torchwood on, entirely his fault?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good theory.
Because he said to her there, she's the key to the rift. That the rift is only opening because of her.
And as we found out later on, one of her descendants is in Torchwood as well.
Yeah. So, here's something. So see the gas lights on the wall.
Yep.
So my house, when I was renovating my house, I pulled all the ceilings down, and those gas lights were in my ceiling, still connected.
In the ceiling?
Yeah. Honestly, they were the way they did it. See, was that where my lights are now is that the pipe work run over, and what they would do is they come down through the ceiling, and they'd have a J turn at the bottom. You'd have 4 lights. So you'd have 2 going that way and 2 going that way.
You'd have to have 4 lights.
Yeah, there are 4 lights. Yes. But they were all still connected. It was all still in all the glass and everything. It was just pushed up into the ceiling, and all they'd done is folded the thing over and hammered the pipe flat. They were still connected to the gas as well.
Well, where my mum and dad live, in the bedroom that was mine and my brother's, they've actually still, I don't know if they're still there if my dad's got rid of it now, but they had one of the ones with a pipe going up and like the round thing. It was all disconnected, but they still had the gas lamps in there.
No, I had everything. Everything was on it. The glass, the actual sort of the ornate connector at the bottom, with the tap, and the actual pipe as well, going down to the central connection and going up to the pipe as well. It was going through a central connection, and all they've done is just after the central connection, they just bent the pipe over and flattened it with a hammer. That was it.
Bloody hell.
Health and safety, man. Now then, here's something you should know. So they done was that energy is always leaked, causing whatever TARDIS comes along to absorb it from time to time. Yeah, but like with like episodes like Boomtown and that, they constantly poking holes in it. So I'd say that like with this year, the Doctor's opening the rift now, and it's again he's just poking holes in it, just constantly just kneading at it. So I'm saying that I'd say that what happens with the rift is probably if the Doctor just left it alone, it'd probably be okay. But blowing up the house and then draining it from because where this is set now is supposed to be Cardiff Bay. Because you've got to remember that where this house is supposed to be what Torchwood is built on.
Yeah.
Torchwood is built under this house. So this is supposed to be sort of, I guess, the end of the railway. Because this would have been where Torchwood is, would have been where the coal bay going out to the coal. It's not far actually. It's not far from that because the jetty is still there. Up the road to Bracken. But yeah, I meant to say. So with the Gelth there, they done an interesting thing where the girl herself playing the Gelth, she had a CG body, but it was her face. Because there was a bit of they were having a bit of a problem with doing CG faces, I suppose. So they just done some of this trick lighting photography of her face and actually just stuck her head onto a CG body. Brilliant line. It's a good line because it makes the Doctor feel a little more alien. I think you're stupid. It's a stupid mind. Naturally the morgue.
Well, there's a rack of tools to make you really appreciate modern medicine.
Yeah, don't do open coffin funerals. I like this character transition as well with Charles Dickens. He goes from being a very skeptical person who wrote about ghost stories, knowing that it was all sort of nonsense, to
To be fair to him, what he's looking at now will be enough to move most skeptics.
no, but I mean it challenges him. But then he comes to the reality. He comes to the rationality of understanding when the Doctor explains it to him later.
Yeah.
And then he starts using his own intelligence, and it's a very good character arc for him. I think it's a wonderful visual effect. It's a mixture of flame and CG and real, and it's very well done.
Yeah, it is. And it still looks good today.
It does. It looks amazing. Nice flip. Like some of those been sawn open, like that's just gonna be messy. Yeah, he's dead. See, now Dickens is coming to the realization of the reality of the situation, and it's like, crap, I'm getting out of here. As anyone would. Let's be honest. I'm all on Dickens' side here. Yeah. Screw that out of here. Again, brilliant writing, brilliant lines. Yeah, they had to do the doorknob. The knocker. Yeah, if you look on the wall next to him, that's the converter, the diverter that most gas lights are tapped onto, and that's what was in what was in my ceiling with the pipe with all the glass heads on. And it's just been folded over and hammered flat.
And you had no idea?
No, it was up. It was just stuffed up in the ceiling. Because this were originally two rooms. So yeah, I had one bunch up there and one bunch up there, and it was still connected to the gas line.
Have you checked the Guelph? I mean, you're in Wales. You ain't that far from Cardiff. Just saying.
No. But yeah, if you imagine that just bent over and flat, that's what was in the ceiling. I like this story arc with Dickens as well, because it's not a guy that's got like real sort of courage. It's more like he just come to this realization, and that he's coming to the realization of what's going on. He's using rational thinking. Then it's gone from being skeptical to being, yeah. He refers to them as creatures. It's very specific language. And again, not the most expensive of visual effects, but really well done. Yeah. Yeah, when she said I can't send them back, the doctor. If you look at it carefully, watch Christopher Eccleston's face drop and change because he's realised what's happened. Again, brilliant acting from Eccleston. See it? See in his eyes, he's just there. Check out just to make sure. would never work for me. All the heads would come off. I'd be there for days. And there goes the Tourist Information Centre. But yeah, that down there is literally it's a market. It's a shopping centre. It's very nice, but they spent a lot of money making sure that it was never changed, never altered. We'll talk about something in a bit, but the lighting for this is fantastic. The lighting and cinematography for this is just amazing. It's winter, but it's all warm colours.
I do like the dematerialisation and the snow on that. It's one of the things. I haven't seen this for years, but it's one thing I do remember from this.
I like the fact that the Doctor knows, but he's still happy for him anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question that should never be answered. Oh,
It hasn't been answered. There's a ruse. Someone was lying. Stop it.
someday some bloke named Simon Callow is going to be playing Dickens for 20 odd years. And he's going to play him in an episode of Doctor Who. Then that paradox breaks the universe. There they go. All those little particles of snow just drift off the TARDIS.
First time I watched this, I mean, this was the first time they'd used the full dematerialization sound. I was like, oh, they've done the whole thing. It's the actual, it's the proper one.
But yeah, no, you're right. When you watch it, you can see as it dematerializes, the snow that's on it just drifts off.
Yeah.
It just floats away, and it's lovely. And there we go. Next time, it's, what is it, Aliens in London?
Yes. Lots of fun.
Anyway, let's stop that there. Yeah, it is. It is. Aliens in London. That's the next episode. Yes. Anyway, so that's Doctor Who Unquiet Dead. I hope you enjoyed that. I love it. I just
It's been a
love
while
the
since
episode.
I've seen that one. It's very good.
Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun, and it's a real good. It's one of those stories whereby they've done it several times in Doctor Who, whereby they get a historical figure like H.G. Wells or somebody like that, and they get him involved in interacting with the Doctor's story. Um, and obviously, like with this being a ghost story as well, set around Christmas, it was kind of winter time at least. Um, the fact they brought in Dickens doing his readings, going around the UK doing his readings and stuff like that, doing Christmas live readings of Christmas Carol. I thought it just works really, 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 really well. And I mean, this was a story that they wanted to, because Doctor Who is now filming in Cardiff instead of London. They really wanted to do an episode that was set in Cardiff. The irony being that they had to film in Monmouthshire and Swansea. So it was kind of the irony of the episode was that they set it in Cardiff but had to film it elsewhere because Cardiff unfortunately is it's not like that. Like it used to be like that, but they keep knocking the damn place down and rebuilding it all the time. So it's just not like that anymore. So you've got to go further afield to find places that look like Cardiff did in the 1800s. So they go to Swansea and Monmouth. So yeah, but I mean the location that they used in Monmouthshire was I believe it's Beaufort Beaufort Court, I think it's called Beaufort. That's what's right. Beaufort Court. Yeah. And that place they actually spent like about 5 mil on the place just to put it back to the way it was, just to so that it didn't. They kept it historically kind of. I think they're all listed buildings now. So but yeah, all that area there is like tourist information centre and marketplace. So it's a very townly type sort of place, like. And then you got Church Street, then, which I think is the street that the horse and cart go up and down. That's the one with the big sign on the side of the house, as well. But then they tie that into Swansea, then, which is nowhere near. And then they use, the marina in Swansea. Again, that's not too far away from where the building was for, Let's Kill Hitler and places like that. End of Time, and I think it was also shot in and around those areas. So, but there is somebody we should talk about, which we've never talked about, and that is Ernie Vincezi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He is the cinematographer for Doctor Who. He's the guy who shot all these. He shot 38 episodes of Doctor Who. He shot the final episode that he shot, I believe, was Waters of Mars. I believe that was his last episode. I got a feeling he carried on working up until about 2012. I think he retired in 2012. But all these episodes from all the Eccleston run, most of Tennant, is all Ernie Vincezi cinematography.
Well, if he finished the Waters of Mars, I mean, that was part of Tennant's last run anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't his fight. I don't think he worked on the final episode. So, do you remember the original Corridor Fire trailer with the clips of this in, and then shot of a Dalek in chains? When they were promoting it, God, I mean, So I believe when they shot, because again, a lot of what that trailer was shot in the Principality Stadium. So particularly when you got the whole bit where Eccleston's talking to the camera. With this, they made smart choices on the locations, smart choice for the period. The only thing I would have said is wrong is having marble marble pillars and things like that in somebody's house. Particularly a Welsh house, like I said, you'd be lucky to have plaster on the walls. Because you wouldn't be plaster on the walls anyway; it would be mortar. So it would be mortar and like a whitewash over the top of it.
Or what than daub, as Ian said in the in the YouTube chat.
Yeah. So yeah, the lighting on this was a cracking choice, because if you go back and take a look, even when the TARDIS just lands, they step outside into what is supposed to be 1869 in Cardiff in snow, and if you look at it, it's all using warm lighting, which is totally what you wouldn't do. Like most cinematographers would not use. Like if you look at the lighting for this episode, it's very much Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, it is a bit actually.
So it's an odd choice for like, but it looks beautiful. It absolutely looks beautiful, and the snow, the amount of fake snow that they had to just blitz around the place. Because you've got to remember, if you look at the street where they shot this, the actual area, you literally where the doctor's talking to Rose and he says, "Oh, it's 1869, it's in Cardiff." You're looking at the doctor and Rose like this. Well, if the camera turns that way, down the end of that street is the marina. It's just like that's the end of the bay. So they filled that entire street with fake snow, and it's a big area. It's a big junction. They had to blitz the road as well to cover the road markings. So they went above and beyond for those sorts of things on the production. Again, for the extras, all the extras were wearing period costumes, the horses, the carts, all that sort of stuff. They've done such a, like we've said it before, Doctor Who does it period drama very, very, very well. It does it better than anything else that it does. But comes out the writing. The writing on this episode is really good, really sharp, witty banter, good back and forth, some good character moments, good character building, brilliant character moments between Eve Miles and Billy Piper. It's just it's my favorite. It's my favorite. There we are. Anyway, Chris, now you've seen the episode again, what do you think?
Oh, it's definitely a strong episode. Good story. Like you say, the lighting's perfect. I just found out from looking on the little thing I've got next to me here that the director of photography, Ernie Vincese or something.
Yes, Vincese, yeah.
He could swim because apparently he's got a bronze swimming certificate. Because it says...
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. The makeup was good. I mean, I didn't realise that was like a lower budget episode. But
very low.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Callow's always value for money. I mean, he's such a good actor. But all the cast were good in that. I mean, I don't, the leading cast wasn't particularly big, but
yeah,
I can't really pick a flaw in it, to be honest with you. It's quite a flawless episode. I mean, the writing's good. That's one of the best things Mark Gatiss has ever written.
Oh, for sure. Look, we let's be honest here, right? This is why Russell T Davies was great. He was good at handing off stories to other people, but he wasn't afraid to hand them back and say, "Yours, change these, change this," and then we will. And I dare say that there was probably conversations with Russell T Davies all the time, back and forth, probably on Skype calls, but pretty much like this, probably just back and forth talking about what's best for the story, what's best. Because there's probably little moments that I would have said Russell T Davies probably added little moments in that are probably I would have said culturally specific. Like I would have dared say that when he says they from up there, and he says, "Oh, Brecon," you'd have to know where Brecon is to know that it's up there. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably a little Russell T Daviesism, from for that. yeah, there's little moments whereby, I mean, I would definitely say that it's probably the best thing that Mark Gatiss has done. Probably that outside of Sherlock, I would say. Because he doesn't tend to do very strong episodes. I mean, let's be honest with you, the guy that wrote this also wrote Sleep No More.
Yes.
I mean, the only thing different there is one was Moffat, the other one was Russell T Davies. And, I mean, they're just so far apart from each other. This is such a tight, fluid script, tight story, and it's just nothing of the. You compare that to Sleep No More, and they're not even comparable. You can't compare them. And just talking about the actors, yeah, Christopher Eccleston delivered some brilliant performances in this. Brilliant performances. Like I said, it's all in the expression and that lovely moment between him and Simon Callow in the cart, whereby he's being really abrasive with him because they just had an argument with him being in the theatre because he had just thought that the doctor had caused this kerfuffle. He thought he was the guy responsible for it. So he was being very abrasive. Are you happy, sir? And being very abrasive. He carries that performance through. And what's great about the two of them is that they do that scene in the new theatre in Cardiff. The next time when they go outside, they're in Swansea. When they get into the horse and cart, they're in the studio. When they're outside the horse and cart, they're in Monmouth. It's a fluid performance. It's almost, you take all these, they know exactly where they are in tone of the performance to make it such a cohesive. Like it, you don't realise how. Do you know what I mean? The theatre part was shot on the 26th. The Swansea was shot on the 27th. Monmouth was shot on the 28th. It was, but you can. There's that tone, and then you get that scene with him in the horse and cart, in the carriage, where he says, "Oh, you know, I'm your biggest fan," and he starts rubbing his ego. But when they get out to the horse and cart, there's a totally different tone between him and Simon Callow and the Doctor. And it's all down to the performance. How the hell they kept track of it, I don't know. But
well, yeah, I wouldn't have even thought about it being shot in 4 locations. I'm not, you know, I've never dabbled in filmmaking. This is the closest I've got to making films. So I've never thought of it in terms of that. So that goes to show if you've got someone who's knows nothing of filmmaking like me, and it's completely pulled the wool over my eyes. I mean, I know they've shot in other places, you know, for the series. They didn't go here, they didn't go there because it was shot in Wales. Yeah. But that scene there, I wouldn't have known any different. That to me was like fluid.
Yeah, just seamless, exactly. But that's what I mean. They goes to show what good actors they are, whereby they start off abrasive, get into the sort of argumentative almost. Gets into the cab, has that banter back and forth. By the time they get out, they're working together, and that fluid part of the again starts off in the new theatre in Cardiff. Then they go outside, they're in Swansea. They get in the coach, they're in the studio. They get out of the coach, they're in Monmouth. That's 4 different places, 1 performance. I mean, that just goes to show the strength of these actors in the show. It just goes to show how genuinely how good these focused these people are. I mean, obviously it would have been rehearsed, so they would have rehearsed it time and time again, probably before they even done it. But still, I don't care what anybody says. It's a strong performance by all the actors all round.
Yeah.
Again, Alan David, great actor, solid actor. Just has done everything. Like I said, he was on Emmerdale for 2 years, I think. Before, I mean, that's not unusual for a Welsh actor to be in a northern show, but he's done everything. He's done Holby City. He's done the works, like, you know, clearly.
I'll tell you the bit I liked in that. Talking of strong performances, is the bit where Rose tears strips off of him for knocking her out with the chloroform.
Yeah.
That is really good. I think that was the point in this series where I thought, Well, she's not just a teeny bopper singer. Then she can actually act.
I think we should give Billie Piper more credit than we do, because she's actually very, very good in this.
Yeah, she is very good.
She was very good in Diary of a Call Girl. I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, that was for different reasons, surely.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that was still a knockout performance. But yeah, I don't think we give Billie Piper enough credit for what she does in the show. And again, her story arc with Eve Miles in this episode with Gwyneth. There's that moment where she's in the larder and they are just having a conversation, and the conversation is just two girls from two different times just having a chat. And it's almost a scene that you think, right, we can edit this out because there's nothing going on. And there is nothing going on. It's just two girls having a chat. But the chat that they have in just gives you so much context about Rose. It gives you so much context about Gwyneth. And then when it turns round, when Gwyneth starts showing a sample of her power, of what she's tapped into, the scene dramatically changes. Just dramatically changes. Canterbury Tales, the Miller's Wife was before Doctor Who. Possibly. I have no idea. But yeah, that scene with Billie Piper. And again, she's bouncing back and forth off Eve Miles, but it's it's almost a nothing scene that you can almost cut out. Oh, Billie Piper was in it. Right, yes. Oh God, Canterbury Tales. But wasn't Canterbury Tales like a different. It was similar to Doctor Who, like, wasn't it? Whereby it was like a weekly episodic thing. It wasn't like the same cast every week.
Oh, I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I think it was like an episodic, like different cast every week. I remember watching, because they done one. It wasn't Canterbury Tales. I'm trying to think what it was. It's like Murder Most Horrid. Do you ever watch Murder Most Horrid?
Was that the one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I have. I know Dawn French is in it anyway.
Yeah, but I missed that. It was a good show. But yeah, look, Billie Piper, from what we was talking about last week with The End of the World, was that, look, nobody saw it coming with Billie Piper. She was a pop star. She was really. Nobody had given her a second thought. She was written off as an actor. When they announced Billie Piper was the companion, everybody went, really? That's Christopher Eccleston, okay. Because here's the thing as well. Christopher Eccleston wasn't a massive name.
No, weren't you just known for Our Friends in the North or something like that?
You'd done Our Friends in the North, and you'd just come off, I think it was called Messiah, that was written by Russell T Davies as well. So he had done very, very limited. He was in, Our Friends in the North was with Daniel Craig as well. So they both, two actors, come from the same show. So yeah, you'd done that. I'm sure it was like, it was the Second Coming or something that it was called. On Messiah, it was. He played like the Second Coming of Jesus or something. I don't know. It was I think it was only like 3 episodes, I think. So really, he was pretty unknown. I mean, everybody's played the Doctor's been pretty unknown, to be honest with you. They've all been brilliant choices, but most I would have said were John Pertwee would have been known. Patrick Troughton would have been known, but not like. I said the most famous person to ever play the Doctor was probably Peter Cushing. I think so. I don't think there's any real.
Well, of the TV Doctors, I mean, in Britain, I would imagine one of the most famous ones would have been Peter Davison, because coming off the back of Features Great and Small, that was everyone watched that. I remember my mum and dad always having that on when I was a kid.
That was big in America as well.
Yeah.
So probably. But Second Coming was really good. Highly recommended. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I knew about it and I knew what it was, but I hadn't seen it. But yeah, I mean, the production on this episode in particular, it was, if you're looking at, this was almost a bottle episode. Like it's set in one house, in one location, but it's shot all around the place. Even though it's Pertwee and the Navy Lark. Wasn't the Navy Lark a radio show? I mean, Pertwee was pretty much of a voice actor anyway. He was good as a character actor, but he was good for putting on and doing voices. But I'm pretty sure Navy Lark was a radio show.
Wasn't Navy Lark was both, to be honest with you.
Was it? Oh, I don't know. I don't honestly. I mean, I was gonna say wasn't Wurzel Gummidge, but Wurzel Gummidge was after Doctor Who, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Wurzel Gummidge was late 70s.
Yeah. And didn't he also do like Wurzel Gummidge Down Under?
Yeah.
How the hell did that work?
He got on a boat and followed Aunt Sally.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on that, mate. As a complete aside to everything else we're talking about, I still remember sitting watching the telly with my dad, and my dad screaming and swearing at the telly when Wurzel Gummidge went after Aunt Sally and not Dolly Clovespeg. That's ingrained in my memory. My dad shouting at the kids' programme.
Yes, I don't want to get into talking about Wurzel Gummidge here, but there were two Aunt Sallys, and nobody seemed to notice.
I thought they was all in the Stubbs.
No. No, Una Stubbs actually replaced the first Aunt Sally.
Oh, it's been a lot of times as I see it.
Anyway, that's Wurzel Gummidge, but yes, radio, but radio sound, yeah, but you can't see somebody's face on radio, so he might have been a household name as for being on the radio, but big actor for. I mean, funny thing, John Pertwee was in a film with some bloke called William Hartnell as well, so that'd have been a bit weird. Yeah. Right.
Well, we got it. The Navy Lark was a radio play that John Pertwee was in. And then they made a film with Leslie Phillips and Hattie Jakes that John Pertwee weren't in.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Good grief, Hattie Jakes. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the long way round, getting back to Doctor Who and talking about this particular episode, the visual effects in this really, they nailed it. They were nailed it with the simplicity, real nice color scaling. So when the Gelths show up, because here's the thing, right? The color scheme of this episode is very much in the ambers. It's shot in an amber light. When the Gelths show up, they are in a blue color range. Then when they transform and reveal themselves, it goes into this mixture of reds. And so the lighting scheme for this and the effects for this, I mean, you've just seen it as well as we have. Where would you put those visual effects? Given how simplified they had done the effects, where would you put this compared to most Doctor Who?
But I think because of the lighting they used, and because the flames had an almost surreal cartoon quality to them that fit in with all the lighting they was doing. I'd rate them quite highly. I was surprised at how good they still look, 15 years later.
Yeah, I mean, like this. It's not a rubber frog. It's not a rubber frog.
Not a rubber frog, no.
That's the low standard, though.
No. No, there's rubber frog. There's everything else above it. Then just below the rubber frog is a flying Cyberman head.
You can't. Oh my god! I had blanked that from my brain. Oh, I had deleted it. There was a space in my brain where that I didn't know what happened in that episode because it had been deleted.
That's what you get for dissing the frog, man.
Oh dear God. As effects still look pretty good now. I would say they look great. See, I think that the approach was right because they did things that they knew what the limitations were, they knew what they could do, and then yet what Doctor Who tends to do better, I would say, is when they take a chance, when they realize you can't do that because we haven't got the technology to do that, or we haven't got the budget to do that, is that they come up with something creative and another way to illustrate it. And they've always done that through even the classic series used to do that. It's just the fact that what they've done these days, in particular now, modern Doctor Who, is that it falls onto, oh, we can do that. And I don't like that because, quite honestly, as you said, floating, flying Cybermen heads, no, you can't. You can't do it. You just can't. It's no. Oh, God.
Please stop it. Don't do it again.
Yeah, and it's again the simplistic nature of it. These effects, I believe, were rendered on a Mac. You know, I don't believe there was because if I'm right, this is before the mill. So the mill are coming up. I think the mill come on for the first episode is actually Aliens of London. But I think before that there are. This is just like a couple of people working on this.
I'm going to tell you now, the 3D artists were Chris Tucker and Chris Petts.
Mm-hmm.
And the visual effects producer was a guy called Will Cohen.
Yeah.
Dave Houghton's the supervisor. I don't say anything about the mill on it. I've got a tablet next to my laptop screen.
Yeah, I don't believe that the mill jump on until Aliens of London. I think they do the crash into the Thames. Because I know that the Big Ben being struck is a model built by Mike Tucker. And again, there's a guy that we don't talk about enough as well, because in Rose he done all the inside of the base being blown up. You know, he handled the model effects of Big Ben. He's getting demolished. He handled some of the effects for the end of the world. He's a guy that he's worked on Red Dwarf. He works on. He's a very hands-on model builder and effects builder and prop builder, and he doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. But that's something to talk about next week when we're going to get into some green farting creatures in that two-parter. This is kind of like the up before the down, right? I'm reading this right, I think. Aliens of London is a good attempt, but
yeah, it was something different. I'm just looking at the episode list. I mean, it kind of goes down a bit, then we go up a bit. The long game, then you got Father's Day, the empty child. It kind of goes up because I didn't mind Boomtown. A lot of people complained about Boomtown, but I thought that was a good.
My favorite line in Boomtown is when Blonde Felshfort is talking to the doctor, and she says, she dematerialized, she couldn't set the coordinates, and she ended up in a skip on the Isle of Dogs, and I just pissing myself. Just like, that's perfect. That's perfect Doctor Who. Like, because anyway, here's the thing, right? That we've talked about this before, right? About the differences between British sci-fi and other sci-fi. I mean, not necessarily American, but British sci-fi most of all. When you write something like a person that immediately teleports.
Yeah.
Normally they'll teleport and they'll arrive somewhere safe and somewhere. But in a British sci-fi writing mind, if somebody's teleporting, they're gonna land. They're gonna be like 20 feet off the floor and land in something shitty like. And that's the big difference between British sci-fi writing and other sci-fi writing. Is that there's this? I mean, you've only got to look like things like Douglas Adams and to understand British sci-fi writing, which is just that it's not just sci-fi writing, pretty much any fictional writing. If you're going to write something and something happens to somebody, it's going to be something crap. It's going to be something like, they're not going to get out and have a flat battery on their car. They're going to get out and somebody's nicked their car and left the wheels. The first production block was a bit dodgy. I mean, look, here's what's good about Series 1 of Doctor Who. It's ups and downs of they're trying different things. They're unsure of their feet, but they're going for it. And regardless of whether or not it's great, or whether or not it's not so good, they're 100% committed. Like they are going hell for leather, whether you like it or not. And the thing with what comes next, because the first episode was Autons, so plastic people. Second episode was the Earth blowing up with as many alien creatures as you can cram in as possible. Third episode is Zombieland. Fourth episode is big, weird, baby-faced aliens with a pig alien. And I'll say this. The alien ship from Aliens of London, I absolutely love. For a flying saucer, it's probably my favourite Doctor Who spaceship. And I wish I had one. I don't have. I've been considering building a model of one.
You spent 8 hours building a spaceship the other week. You could have built that one.
I know. I might do it. I might build one. A nice one about yay big, with a rotating disc in it as well. Why haven't they popped up again? They've done all these other spaceships. I would have loved, in is it End of Time, when they're on board the spaceship in space with Wilf? I just wish it was that ship. Not that ship specifically, but a version of that. Like it's a very cool design. I really do like it. And of course, next week as well, we get the reintroduction of Jackie as well. So that's something to look forward to, because I do like. I'm trying to think of it. Camille Karma. Yeah, I can never remember her name. It's
to me, she's always going to be the girl out of Nuns on the Run.
yeah.
But I like the setup with Jackie and Mickey and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I don't like it, because I'd rather they just buggered off in the TARDIS and did spacey things. So I'm kind of torn on that whole thing. It
does, right? So I mean, it does. They try to get away from it. They've got to address. The problem is that you've got to address it. If you just ignored it, people would be like, "Where the hell's her mother? Where the hell's?" Or because you just up sticks and left, right? And this was really kind of the first time Doctor Who does go back to somebody's home and have them be like, "You've been absent. You've been missing. You've been, where the hell have you been? What the hell's happened?" And this is the first time. I think it was a really good way to handle it. I think maybe after this, I mean, I can't really take anything away, because we end up with like Age of Steel, and it's a really good. Once this dynamic is set up between her and Jackie, so many good things come out of as a rolling result of that you get Father's Day, you get all the stuff. Pete Tyler, you get that entire story arc.
That's why I'm torn on it.
That's what I mean. So many good. The way I see it is that you weigh up the good with the bad, and if the good outweighs the bad, then it's worth doing it. And to me, the Rose Tyler, because I am not fond of this. I'm not fond of the smoochiness in Doctor Who. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that she kind of falls for David Tennant. It's not that sort of relationship. I don't feel anyway. But she has this relationship with David Tennant where she falls in love with him, and then he falls in love with her, and then they have the Meta Doctor, and then all that stuff. And it's a love story. Look, I'm not going to tell any lies. The moment that she was left in the alternate universe and the Doctor, is burning up a start to talk to her, I was sitting there watching it going, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. You just got to keep telling yourself you're okay. Like,
I don't remember me doing that actually. I think I was more like going, no.
It's just,
it was really well done. It was really well done.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So if you weigh up the good of the stuff that you can take out of it, and that's again, I don't want to come back to ragging on New Who, right? But
talking of New Who, you referred to this as Series 1. I'll have you know it's Series 27. Carry on.
Yeah, yes, I know. I've a Series 1 of New Who. Okay, so they can't really call it New Who. It's 15 years old. That's the shocking part of it. It's 15 years old. I remember sitting and watching the first time around. Jesus. Wow. It's shocking, man. It's shocking the bits the time's moving.
It's gone quick.
We've been and had the 50th. We've been moving on to fluidly onto the 60th in 3 years. My word. Just hammering along. But getting back to this, the characters were strong, the performances were strong, the visuals were strong. Again, Eccleston delivers a brilliant performance. The subtleties in the performance that he gives throughout are fantastic. I love the scene where Charles Dickens is examining the body and the camera pans around and he's just standing there, leaning in the doorway, just watching him because he knows. He knows that because what's good with Unquiet Dead as well is that it's the story arc of three people. It's the story arc of Gwyneth to go from what she's had to live with all her life and to her death. It's the story arc of what happens with Charles Dickens, and it's the story arc of what happens with Rose, with her realization. So it's a brilliantly threaded and fast-paced as well. People forget like the pace that this episode moves at, how much they get crammed into 45 minutes. And that's why I love the episode. I think that I don't think there's anything that you can really take out of the episode to benefit the episode at all. I don't think there's anything that you could cut.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's not my favourite episode because there's other episodes I like more, but it is definitely one of the best episodes. I would say it was a flawless episode. I can't think of one thing in that whole episode that made me go, oh, I don't know about that. There was nothing. In fact, I was finding it difficult to listen to you and make commentary because I got drawn into it.
Yeah,
like I did when we watched Scream of the Shulker. So it was one of them episodes I had to keep reminding myself, hang on, we're supposed to be doing the video here, and I'm just sitting here
watching it.
Yeah. Got drawn in. It is that good. It is. I'd call this a flawless episode.
It's look, like I said, it's objectively speaking, it's not the best episode of Doctor Who. But for me personally, this is my favorite, and that's why. It's a very tight episode. It's a very tight story. You've got three different story arcs going on that they all play together, that they all feed into each other. You get stuff laid out, the big bad wolf. You get all this stuff about Rose and Gwyneth, whereby they're talking about they're just talking about the two people from two different times that are just talking about life without mentioning where and when. Like they're both talking about the same things in life, the things that are important to them in life, and not once does she mention phone, bills, traffic, work. It was more about generally about relationships and about what's important to those people. and on that, it was a fundamental connection between Rose and Gwyneth. So I really liked that. But again, the story arc for Charles Dickens, where he starts off as an abrasive, strong individual, as this strong skeptic, this argumentative, fierce person, then goes into having all of his beliefs and everything challenged, to then have using his rational mind to piece together what's going on, finally listening to the doctor, coming to the realization, and then doing the right thing, then getting mucking back in, and then being left at the end of the episode in this almost euphoric state of sort of a rebirth then of his character. Just very wonderfully done, wonderfully done. And again, the lighting, the costumes, everything in this episode is absolutely is why it's my favorite. I think I just love it.
I'll tell you, the one thing that would have made that episode even better would have been if there'd been some lost manuscripts of Charles Dickens and he'd started writing a story about Blue Angels, and they tied. That's the only. If that had have happened really in history, and they'd have tied that in, that would have been like a cherry on top of the icing. But it didn't need it.
Yeah. No, it didn't. But I think again, they come back to him later on, much later on in the When the River Song. So, but again, perfect casting. Love the episode. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say on this episode, really. If I'm going to rate this episode, I'm going to rate this episode a 10. It's my favorite. I can't rate it any lower than that. It's a 10 for me. This is the episode that made me really enjoy the Witchfinders, because the Witchfinders does something very, very similar to this.
Yeah.
And not as well, but similar. But I did really, I enjoyed it for that sort of reason.
Yeah, even though it's not my favourite episode, I'd probably have to give it a 9.5 or a 10 as well, because, like I said, there was no flaws in it. There was not a single moment that I thought was out of place, badly shot. You know, there was no bad. There wasn't even a word out of place in the dialogue. It was just I've got nothing bad about it at all. So yeah, I'd have to give it a 10 as well. We're in agreement on this one.
It's a very, very good episode of Doctor Who. Ian is in the comments. Ian, if you want to chime in and let us know where you would place this episode. If I look at all of New Who, I'm gonna put this at the top. It's gonna be a joint company with other episodes. It's gonna be up there with Blink and other episodes like that. But it's for me, I just think this is the best made. So Ian said individual stories, not episodes. For New Who.
Yeah, if you read the line before it.
Next year there'll be more stories than Doctor. I see. Yes, it would help if I would read. I'm very sorry about that. Next year there will be more New Who stories than classic. Yes, individual stories. Yeah. Yeah. That's that. I mean, yeah, time has just shifted on us, man. We just lost. Like we were talking last week about how we'd be coming to the end of Tom Baker if this was New Who was, put parallel with the start of Doctor Who. At the start of Doctor Who, we'd have gone through William Hartnell's run. We'd have gone through Troughton's run. We'd have gone through Pertwee's run. We'd now be coming to the end of Tom Baker's run. He'd be in his fourth, going to fifth year. So. Man, it's just shocking how we just get in through there. How time is just like pissing by.
But did you think about it? 1963 to 1978 sounds a lot longer than 2005 to 2020. It just does. It just sounds longer. But it's not. It's the same.
I love a happy medium. Got to be worth a 10 on its own. Hang on a sec. I'm just gonna do a little bit of. This is where my computer has a bit of a meh, I think. Oh god. Let me just quick. I'm just having a. Right, sorry about that. I just having a quick check on something as well. Yeah, so the locations were Church Street, Beaufort Court, Swansea Marina, and New Theatre in Cardiff. So it was a very, very cheap budget episode. Again, the photography looks great and directed really, really well. I don't know who directed this episode, actually. I'm going to go back for a second. Oh, helps if I use the right controller. No, exit. No, we could watch it again. What have I done? What have I done? Right, I've just. I'm not buggering around with Netflix on my TV. I just trying to find out who directed the episode. That's all.
Well, this episode.
Yes.
This episode was directed by Ross Lynn.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So, everybody done a cracking job in it, from makeup to everything, and it's just absolutely. And I can't even look at it now because I've just knocked it off. But yeah, gotta love a happy medium. Is the line by Rose, isn't it? Gotta be worth a 10 on its own. Yeah, it's a good line. It's all with sharp dialogue with the episode through and through. So yeah, that's it for this week. I think unless you got any more to add.
No, not at all. I think we've pretty much covered everything and praised it to bits, and it's deserving of the praise.
Yeah, it is. It is very much. Either of you got the About Time books yet? No, I haven't. I've been meaning to. I promise you, I've been meaning to. But we're just lucky that we're doing streams now. I mean, seriously.
I mean, I've grown a face and everything, Ian. It's amazing.
Yeah. He used to just be an icon. I mean, I've had to wear earphones now because of technical difficulties and things. But
Carwin's part Cyberman now.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, I got to do this stuff. Yeah. There we go. But yes. No, we'll get around. We will get around to again. I'm going to take a look. I tell you what. I'm going to write that down right now. Actually, so I've got it. I've got a note about it, just so I make sure. About time.
In the downtime, Carwin's also learned to write. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing stuff. I haven't learned to write well. But no, I know. I'm going to call it quits for this evening because I'm going to do myself a pizza, and that's going to be me sorted for this evening. That's my supper for tonight. I haven't had food since like 1 o'clock, so I'm very, very hungry. But that's it for this week. That's the Unquiet Dead done. Next week we are going to be doing Aliens of London, so we're going to be carrying on with the Christopher Eccleston run. And
are we going to do both, or are we going to spread it over 2 weeks?
Do you know? Why don't we do both? Why do we do Aliens of London and World War III in one run?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Let's do that with two, because they're two-parters. Let's knock all two-parters into one episode, into one sit through. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I tell you what we could do. Because if we do the two parts in one, what we could do is do the first part, talk about the first part, then do the second part, then talk about the story overall. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. Just keep everything a little bit more cohesive. I'm going to wear my cyber head out if masks are advised. Yeah, I think I've got a Cyberman head here somewhere. I think I do. I have to look. I have to have a look in the attic.
Put a drone in it.
Yeah. Oh God. No. No. Every time I forget about it, you've got to bring it up.
It's a running gag now, mate.
Oh man. Oh, Jesus. If you really want to know where we stand on Series 12, okay, it's very, very simple. Series 12 is better than Series 11, and then it kicks itself in the bollocks, and then kicks the audience in the bollocks as well. That's pretty much
a mass bollock kicking going on with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we stand with. There's a lot of things to enjoy about Series 12. I think we both came to the conclusion that Mary Shelley episode, The Haunting of Villa Dati, or whatever it is called, is probably the best episode. Yeah. But there's really not a lot to. Because I think what our realization, I think, was last week, Chris, when I said to you, what happened if we took Jodie and put it in a Christopher Eccleston episode, and then took Chris and put it in a Jodie episode. And I think when we analysed it that way, it was kind of like, oh yeah, no, the writing does no favours here, does it?
No.
So yeah. But anyway, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. That's the Unquiet Dead. Next week, Aliens of London and World War III. Till next time.
See you later. Good night.
See you later. Take care.